to Log Jam, the official podcast of the League of Gentlemen. Here we are on the Week 4 show. We've got a great show planned for you. We're getting into recaps, our Yule log segment. We've got Ari K's in-house.
Yeah.
And then we have a couple of pre-planned, pre-positioned stuff for the end of the show. Darren, what do you think of the week?
Exciting week. Again, a lot of points. That seems to be the theme this year. A lot of points put up. Big numbers where even, when you're put up in a 165 or something, you might...
We used to talk about 135, 140 being plenty to win. We're looking at a median right now of 155, an average score of 146. The league is... The defensive rules in the NFL have affected our league, and,
Sure.
and now we're going to adjust.
Yeah. And I think there was a lot of good matchups this week. Teams we wanted to see butt heads and kind of put the league. Now we have a handful of 3-1s. We have a handful of 2-2s. Then we have, of course, some 0-4s. We're looking forward to the show tonight. Again, I'm Darren Adams, Tom Bria. We look forward to doing this for you. Welcome to Log Jam.
Welcome.
Week 4 matchups.
Our first matchup this week, Titans-Zoros. And the Titans put a whooping on Joel, 191 to 119. I mean, what can you talk about?
Congratulations, Billy. High points total. Take home that cash. But yeah, really, as far as the game goes, there's not really much to talk about. Billy, once again, his Chargers do what his Chargers do. Even all the way down to his bench Charger, which was a viable option, I guess.
I think Zach Ertz is your keeper, putting up 24. That's what you kept him for. That's it. That's a week-changing number out of a tight end. I think Gio from Bernard might be the best play of the week.
That was a great play.
You see Mixon now. He's going to be there. It's a good matchup, and getting him 25.6 is fantastic. I think you see some bench numbers that might bode well with a Marshawn Lynch putting up a number and a Deshaun Jackson. Overall, a fantastic week for Billy.
Yeah, he's built solid. As long as the Chargers are rolling, I think the Titans will roll as well.
Double ditch, although Philip Lindsay, yeah, for sure. Over on the Zorro side, running back continues to be a question. Kirk Cousins masked what was otherwise a terrible week, and we can't start this without talking about the fact that for the first time in a couple of years anyway, he starts a guy that is out for the week.
Yeah, he does. He starts an inactive player. First time we've seen it this year, but it's a fine. We all know to check the lineup before the week gets going.
And in fairness, we should have thought to change the rules before the year. Like, hey, if you have a baby, exactly when the week starts, we get it. Like, I understand that. So, but he'll pay the money. We'll get by it. He understands the game. We understand the game. Everything's fine with that. But Fournette not coming back. Rashad Penny doesn't do anything. Kenyon Drake, a keeper at 2.6. Yep. That's got to be disappointing. You see that Alshon Jeffrey number there at 28 on the bench. Is that enough to get him there? Who knows?
Well, next week Joel matches up against Pooh Bag on Fire. So that in itself should be a chance for Joel to get a win.
One of them can't be undefeated. Can't. One of them has to win.
Yeah,
they can't both be 0-13.
One of them has to win unless they tie. I guess they don't have to win. But anyway, we're getting off base here. Congratulations, Billy. High point total. Really killed it this week. Not a team I want to see in any part of the year moving forward.
No, for sure. Absolutely.
Week 4 matchup featured the Fury visiting the Sin. This was a great game. Chris is, again, next year I might draft from a Vegas hotel room myself because his team has really, really been producing.
He has. And, we had this as the 4th most significant game of the week, which is why we're doing it here. It's two teams that are setting their place in the middle, and he comes up big. Patrick Mahomes is probably the best draft pick of the year.
It's gold.
He's not getting a lot of production out of his running backs. Nuke has been fantastic, but Deion Lewis, Javoris Allen, what do you see there?
I think he has some options. He's not really strong there, but receiver-wise, I want to talk about the Tyler Boyd play. What a great play for him this week. That was. I know it's a Bengal, so I know but even on a fantasy level, that's
any other receiver but Tyler Lockett would have lost him this week on his bench. So yeah, it's a great play. You get great production out of wide receivers. Tyler unfortunately goes away. Yeah. I think Robert Woods slots up. He either goes to Njoku.
And Njoku with Baker Mayfield now is probably the legitimate option. I don't know that he has to scour the waiver wire for a tight end.
Well, this is Team Pat Mahomes. He's sitting there at 3-1. He is basically the lowest point scored of anyone that's in playoff contention, but he's there.
I'm sure Ari would tell you his playoff percentage at this point is 72.8%.
8.4532. We need to go to way too many decimals.
Too many decimals.
Other side of the coin, Sin, great effort this week. Matt Ryan puts up huge numbers. Again, running back trouble.
Running back trouble, but if you look at his bench, you'll see that Christian McCaffrey is a bye week, so that's a huge part of his point total each week.
Yeah.
And then he made the trade for Adrian Peterson, but he traded for him when the Redskins were on a bye week, which moving forward is great.
At 147, if you add a 17, a 22, or whatever,
absolutely.
This is a team to be reckoned with. This is a playoff contender.
Other than LaShawn McCoy, I think, at that flex position where he plays, and I mean, Shady's maybe become a little
more than just his nickname.
Yeah, more than his nickname. He might be a shady flex. He might be a shady roster spot at this point. I don't know. So.
And that's the Class A Azul shot of the week.
Taking a shot on Shady.
Two teams, better 3-1. The Sin fall to 2-2, 8th position outside of the playoffs, looking in.
We'll see what the Fury's really made of here next week when they visit the Poway Titans.
Yeah, Titans got up 190 on you. We'll see if
that'll be a good matchup.
Next game on the docket, your mom's pimp 135, Poobag on fire 67. In a week where our favorite well underperformed, put up a small number. In fact, I think only beat 2 teams in the league.
Yeah.
Comes away unscathed with the victory. Darren, how's it feel?
Well, it feels great. I mean, scheduling definitely benefited the Pimps this week. Like you said, I would have lost 7 other teams in the league. So it was a great week to have Poobag on the schedule.
And it wasn't that far ago when 135 was almost a guaranteed win. Obviously, we're deciding that number's a little bit lower, but still a legitimate number. I mean, you have Adam Thielen as a PPR monster, yep. Gurley doing what you're expecting for, Brady back to what Brady's doing at 25. I mean, Jordan Howard maybe disappears, and Gronk, not what you were looking for, but still 135 is a good number.
Yeah, 135 is a decent number. You'd expect to be in it most weeks, and I was. And, there was some things here and there that, like with Gronk getting hurt with the ankle coming out. I mean, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying there could have been some points where I could have got up to that average median this league, which I think this week was like 155. I mean, this was a huge week. So,
and look at those receiver points on the bench. I mean, 25 plus out of 3 guys. Let's not have a pity party for the Pimps. They're 3-1. Over on the other side of the coin, it's a dumpster fire. Dalvin Cook is nothing. Jai, maybe Odell Beckham. Like you're counting on Odell Beckham. Yeah, he can't even score 100 points.
Yeah. Like right now, it's a scary time for the Poobag on fire. Or the
I mean, I think I'm down a little lower. Carson Wentz, positive sign.
Sure.
Week 4 comes back. Melvin Ingram.
Sure.
I mean, he's going to eat into Alvin Kamara's carries. You have to think he's going to be something.
Absolutely.
But we're being as positive as we can with it. Is it? It says he changed his name. Wasn't it Fitz? I mean, with Fitzmagic, we lost his magic, and so you change your team name again?
Yeah. I don't know.
What is he now?
I don't know if it's Poobag on fire, the worst team ever, or what. But I think he's coined. I think it's actually.
He's named Merci Beaucoup officially.
Yeah, Merci Beaucoup.
I think from here on in the podcast, we're going to refer to him as Merci Beaucoup because we don't know what his name is.
What's bye week in French?
Merci bye week.
Merci bye week.
From now on, he's going to be Merci bye week.
That's so brutal. Shot of the week. Normally at this time, we have the interview that's scheduled for the week do their own recap of their game. And Ari isn't here yet, so we're going to go ahead and...
I guess we ended up normally... We're not prepared for this. We didn't talk about this game because we thought Ari was going to do it for sure.
Absolutely.
So we just jotted some stuff down, and so bear with us. This is kind of not scripted at all, but... In a game that wasn't decided until October 1st, Tyreek Howell and Kareem Hunt do come back to haunt the Hammers.
Absolutely. Ari had traded those players away in that Kansas City offense, and it really came back this week when he went head-to-head with them. I mean, Kareem Hunt was actually the one I think that put this matchup over the edge.
Hunt scores more than the people that first-round pick he ends up with in Royce Freeman and the other Emmanuel Sanders going to the right. Kareem Hunt beats both of them tonight, not to mention Tyreek Howell. And speaking of trades, how did Jared Cook do for him?
I don't know. I mean, you traded a first and second round pick for this guy. You didn't put him in the game? How do you have him on your bench?
Ben Watson puts up a 3.3 on a week where he gives up a first, a second, a third, a fifth,
the entire
a 12th,
future of the
a
Hammer
tooth,
franchise
yeah.
for the 2019 season.
Enough. We've been hard enough on Ari. He's not here. I'm a little bit worried about him.
Much love, Ari.
He'll be here for the interview probably, but he's not here yet.
I called him.
You talked to him,
Yeah,
right?
I talked to him.
All right.
Well, let's concentrate on what Ari did very well this week. Alvin Kamara. He put him in his lineup. I mean, and congratulations. You know, he's a beast, man. Once again, 44 points. You wonder if that's something continuing moving forward with Mark Ingram coming back, that those touches stay there, but I'm sure that the looks will be there.
Brandon Cooks, I mean, that's something that's going to be, I think, plug and play for him. I think the Chargers D's okay. I think he made a savvy move there.
When he benched Minnesota's defense because Minnesota's defense was playing the Rams, that was a great pick. I mean, even look beyond this, like we talked about, when that's a 23-point swing, I think we decided, by not playing the Vikings. Now, it wouldn't have won him the week. But when you're in that middle of the pack and that log jam,
in a year that we talk about a lot of the losses sucking to the bottom, and 7-6, 6-7 being right there, maybe an 8-5 wins the league.
Points might be very valuable there. That's a 23-point swing.
On the other side of the coin, I think you see a team that's been undervalued all year down at the bottom at 1-2 young. Deshaun Watson comes up. I mean, we talked about Kareem Hunt having a great night.
Yeah,
it's a team that could be reckoned with.
Yeah, young and confused again. I think both of these teams are playoff teams, or one of the two at this point looks like might be a playoff team. I mean, it's early. But...
I mean, officially, Young does have the tiebreaker against Hammer, so he ends up in the 6th spot. As of the end of this week, Ari, the first week after the trade, is
on the outside looking in, as predicted.
So, is it the end of the Hammers? I'm not ready to go that far. Pimps aren't on record saying that it is, but it is trending that direction, and it was a good matchup. Came down to tonight. Nice win.
Yeah, it was a close one, and good win for the young and confused. They got back into those driver's seats with the rest of us, so or the rest of the upper end of the leagues. And congratulations, it was a good matchup. Hopefully Ari will be here soon.
You talked to him, right?
Yeah, definitely talked to him.
So, all right. Well, Ari, if you're watching this, get here as soon as you can. We'll film the interview, and we'll have a good one.
The game of the week.
And that brings us to the game of the week. The Avengers took on Who's Your Daddy in an upper echelon battle of some real friggin' talent on some rosters. The Daddy edged this one out 167 to 163. I mean, I know if you put up 163, you're almost thinking about the money. Definitely not thinking about a loss. So I'm sure this was a tough heartbreaker for the Avengers.
I mean, 165 is 3. I'm 4th with 162. I'm starting to adjust to the numbers. I'm starting to understand it. But what can I say, man? When you put up 167, you deserve to win a fantasy football game. And Jared Goff putting a 55-burger on Thursday, didn't leave me with much hope. I mean, it's not like a game where, as close as this, I wasn't hanging by a string. Demarius only needed 2.6 tonight. I was working. I didn't even watch it.
Yeah, you got almost 7.
I mean, that was my only hope. Demarius and Michael Thomas going 8.7, but that 8.7 from Michael Thomas leads to an 8.6 from Drew Brees, and that's the ballgame.
Well, they finally get some really, as far as Daddy gets some good production out of David Johnson. Now with Rose in there, moving forward, this looks like, a starting viable option for him. Saquon Barkley.
I mean, it better be with a first-round pick.
Yeah, very true. With Saquon Barkley does what he does, but those receivers that he traded up to get, that they kind of. But I didn't say let him down this week. He scored 167. But
do you have the balls to start
where he could have?
You have the balls to start Cooper Kupp every week, or
no? Absolutely not.
40.4 on the bench. That's a nice number.
And the James White flex play really worked out for him this week. That was a big day for James White.
I mean, you got Tariq Cohen that can go off any week. This, again, is an upper echelon team. Deserves to be 3-1. I can't begrudge it. I think we need to make a rule that podcast guests, if they play one of us the next week, unfortunately can't win, has to concede or something.
Should be.
Is that some bullshit?
Is there a podcast curse? We need to look back and see
we
if
better figure that out.
Yeah, we may have to cancel interviews.
Did one of us play Ari next week? Is that why he's not here?
Yeah, that might be why
we're
not.
Safe from that. I don't know. Ari, I hope you get here. As far as the pimps. The pimps don't play, so we're gonna have.
Well, next week we do, and that's a good point. Because next week is Avalon Avengers Pimps, and stay tuned for that.
On the other side of the coin, my only real takeaway is I started a defense again that goes negative 6.1. Had the Chargers give up. I don't know what to do about that. What did you see?
Well, I think that, one thing, I think your team, you scored 163, that's incredible. So I think it gets even scarier when you look for the Avalon Avengers getting back the news now that we know about Le'Veon Bell possibly reporting. It could get real scary as far as the points this kid could put up.
Well, I don't want to get into all that. I like the numbers out of Zeke, although I see ankle injuries maybe lurking there. George Kittle finally breaking out. That kind of is a little bit of relief for me. I love it. Steph Diggs showing up again. And what are you going to do? If your quarterback, if you start a quarterback in this area and he gets 8.6, it's not great. And so it worries me about Ingram coming back. Are they going to be a run team now? And his stats are going to be, I don't know.
It could have been gameplay there where they said, hey, we're not going to let Drew Brees throw it on the field to beat us, so they saw the Alvin Kamara show. It could be as simple as that. But Drew Brees putting up under 9 points or what have you is not normal. Nick
Chubb at 25 could be fluky. I don't know if there's a thing there, but I like having them both. I think I'm going to get solid numbers out of one or two of them. I think Daddy deserves, again, to be 3-1. He's right there at the top of the league, 597 points scored. Mm-hmm. I'd love to have ill will. I'd love to be super pissed off. I didn't have much hope going into tonight with 2.6, and it's a nice win.
Well, speaking of not much hope, next week you play the Pimps, and the Hammers move on to play Daddy. So both of those should be pretty good matchups.
Couple of heavyweight matchups. Did you talk to him, or were you texting?
No, I called him. I talked to him on the phone. He said Monday works, and he might have to work, but I don't know, dude. I don't know.
I mean, he's not answering our text. Like, I don't know.
Probably won't be able to do the weekly preview. We'll have to. I don't know.
Wait a minute. He wanted to go through the preview.
Nope.
I mean, our segment's only 15 minutes. Like, we gotta fill it with something. Should we do the weekly preview just in case? Is it gonna piss him? Well, he said, well, okay. We don't have a choice, really, right? Let's give him like 5 more minutes.
I'd say 5 minutes. Well, since Ari hasn't been able to make it yet, we're a little bit worried about him, so we're going to go ahead and do a segment we call Weekly Previews.
Well, game on the top of the list, Pimps Avengers. In a week when all playoff contending teams are facing off, this is the headline matchup. In the past, they have met 11 times because they always seem to get scheduled twice. The Pimps have won 6, Avengers have won 5.
Correct. And postseason, these teams always seem to match up. The Pimps have knocked them out 7 times in a row from the playoffs, but there was those other wins that the Avengers got championships.
Who do you see winning this game, Darren?
Well, I think this is an upset special of the week. If there's a rankings, I think the Avengers come away with a shot.
Crazy talk. You guys know the Pimps are going to win. It's ridiculous to think anything other than the Pimps are going to move to 4-1.
The Avengers have the upper hand here. They're on the road.
Okay. This could go on forever. Matchup 2, Titans taking on the Fury. They have met 7 times. The Fury have won only 3 of those matchups.
Yeah, and the Fury at home against the Titans is undefeated, where the other way around, the Titans on the road against the Fury have won every game. And
night games, they were dead even. Who do you think is going to win this one?
I think this is going to be a Titans roll here. I really do.
I can't find any way to disagree with you. I think Fury is pretending up there in that echelon at 3-1 wins, but he is in the playoffs right now, so all power to him. But Titans win this one.
Yeah, and the next week matchup that we're going to preview is the Hammers versus Daddy. Now this is a good matchup that I'm looking forward to see. These teams have been in the league quite a while, so they've met. This is their 74th meeting. And Ari has won 20 of those. So
not a fantastic record out of him. In the playoffs, they've met in the losers bracket 111 times. And in the winners bracket, they've met, I think, this is going to be their, if they meet this year, it'll be their 199th meeting.
Yes.
With the Daddy winning a little over.
The next one's going to be special, that 200 I'm looking.
As far as the preview, we did a little out of order. We do think the Daddy's going to win this one. That moves us to Young versus Sin. In the past, they have met Pi X 4 times in the playoffs. And in the regular season, they are radius squared minus t.
Well, it's always exciting when inaugural meetings happen. I mean, the first time these organizations get a look at each other.
Never met before.
It's going to be a good game.
It's going to be big. Who do you think's going to win this one? I like the Young over the Sin. I've said they're in the top half all year, and I think they prevail.
I think it's another close one here, but I do think that you're right. I think I'm going to take the Young.
All right, and that moves us to the last match of the week. Pooh versus Zorro. Coming into the league very recently, not that many games. They have actually, I don't know, have they ever met?
Well, they have. It was just under 16 other assumed names by said one organization.
Yeah, so we don't know how many times they've met.
We've
Sorry,
lost the record book.
Ari, if you are safe, look that one up for us. We don't have it. We think the Zorro will win this one. I don't think you can't score 62 points in the league.
This is like a Thursday night color rush game that no one wants to watch, where the
brown
Tennessee
versus
Titans
yellow
take on
or something like
freaking
vomit
Alabama.
colors.
I don't know. So yeah, this is. But we'll stomach through it, and somebody's going to pull out a win.
All right, that's our segment for us. That moves us to the next thing Ari does. So a segment we like to call Power Rankings.
Power rankings.
I guess the only way to finish off Ari's weekly article is to do the Power Rankings. So welcome to a segment we call
Power rankings.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Logjam.
Thank you.
We have a lot of fun doing this. I hope it's nearly as fun for you. Week 4 was fantastic.
Sure.
Ari did finally make it, but due to the content we just filmed, we'll schedule with you next week, I guess, and we'll get it all set up.
Yeah, we'll get it.
Yeah, subscribe. We got to thank Clase Azul as always. They're keeping us afloat. Our entire production budget and most of our production fuel is thanks to them.
Yeah, most of our blood alcohol content is thanks to them. But hey, do me a favor, guys. Send me those clips and to me directly or to Tom directly of you watching the games, because we didn't get it, just so we can piece together a cool kind of segment.
We would like a little contribution. We will definitely get an interview scheduled next week, either with Ari or maybe with another guest that we've already had in the works. There might be some scheduling conflicts, but thank you so much for watching. It's been a good time.
Thanks for watching, guys.